Hey guys, so today I'm showing you how I make Jamaican beef patties. So let's get started with the recipe. Alright guys, so you're gonna get a large bowl, and in the large bowl I'm adding all of my dry ingredients. So I'm adding flour, salt, baking powder, and a little bit of turmeric powder. The turmeric powder is what gives the dough that nice yellow color, okay? So next I'm taking cold butter and I'm gonna add it into my flour mixture. Then using my hands I'm gonna rub the butter into the flour until it forms small crumbs. Just make sure your butter is cold, like you just took it from the refrigerator, and also the water that I'm about to add, make sure it's ice cold water. It's really important for the dough so that the dough doesn't start melting, falling apart on you. Okay, so next I started to add in some ice cold water, a little at a time, until my dough came together and I had a nice soft dough. You can knead it lightly just to bring the dough together, and as you see me doing, like I roll it in the bowl until I have a nice soft smooth dough in the shape of a ball. Then you're gonna take that dough, you could wrap it with saran wrap, or you could use a Ziploc bag and tie it and place it into your refrigerator for about 30 minutes to 1 hour until you're ready to use it. Okay, so now we're gonna start making the ground beef filling for the beef patties. So I got my frying pan over medium heat and I'm adding in my ground beef. Then I'm using my pot spoon to break up the meat while it's cooking. All right, and I'm gonna add in some diced up onion and minced garlic. You can also add a few sprigs of fresh thyme here into the ground beef, and then I'm gonna season it. So to season it, I ended up adding salt, black pepper. Then later on you'll see me add in some garlic powder, some ground cumin, and ground allspice. Alright, season up the meat really well, and also use your fork to break up the meat as it's cooking. It's really important to break up the meat so that you have that right texture for your beef patties and that the meat looks very minced. Alright, that's a big part of, like, if you want that right look for your beef patty, you need it to be, the meat to be minced. So continuously break it up as it's cooking. I also added in some browning sauce into the ground beef. That'll give it that nice brown color we're looking for in the beef patty filling. Okay, so add in some of that and mix it into the meat. So I let my ground beef cook for about 10 minutes altogether. But when it was almost finished cooking, so it had maybe about 4 minutes left in cooking, I added in some breadcrumbs and a little bit of water. That'll get the ground beef to be a little bit more moist and the right texture we're looking for. Okay, it won't be dry at all, and it'll just be the perfect texture for beef patty filling. So after I added in my breadcrumb and water, I just mix that into the ground beef and I let it cook for about 4 to 5 more minutes, just so that the liquid can dry down a little. And I'm continuously breaking up the meat, especially now that I added in the water. Break up the meat some more, and then in the ending it should look something like this, and that's the texture you want. Okay, so let's put our beef patty together. So I sprinkled some flour on my counter surface, and I'm also dusting my rolling pin with flour, and I took my dough out of the refrigerator. And basically what you're going to do is roll out the dough until it's really flat into the shape of like a square. Alright, and once the dough is nice and flat, you can get ready to start stuffing it with the filling. So before we stuff it with the filling, what I like to do is I'm gonna even out my sizes. So I'm just using my knife to shape the side of my dough, all right, so that it's not all squiggly and so on. Okay, so after I do that, then I'm gonna cut out the shape for my beef patty. So at this point it depends on how large or small you want your patties to be. Like if you're making mini patties, then you're gonna cut it smaller. If you're making regular size patties, then it's gonna be a little bit longer. So here I made medium size to regular size patties, and I just cut it out into the shape of even sized rectangles basically. And so when you're cutting out the shape for your patties, what you want to keep in mind is the fact that after you place the filling onto the dough, you have to fold it over. All right, so you need the dough to be somewhat long and rectangular shape for that fact. That's how I do mine, and it works for me. All right, so keep that in mind. And yeah, next you're gonna take a spoonful or two of your filling and place it on one side of the dough, but keep it in the middle. Don't spread it too much to the sides. After you place the filling on there, I like to wet the edges of my dough so that when I fold it over, it's easy to close. Okay, so that's what I do. I wet the edge of my dough, and then I'm just going to fold them over and seal it. If you want and you like to make like cheesy beef patties, you could add some cheese in there as well before you seal it. Okay, so yeah, you guys, I use a fork after I seal all of my beef patties. I use a fork to just make sure it's completely sealed and my filling won't ooze out, and also the fork gives the edge of the patties a really nice shape. Also, after I use the fork to seal the patties, I like to go over using my knife and just clean up the sides of my patties to give it a nice straight line basically. All right, then if you have any dough left over after you've made those patties, like from cutting out and cleaning the dough, you can roll that together and you might get one or two more patties. Okay, so once you're finished forming all of your beef patties, you're gonna place them on a baking dish. Spray the baking dish with non-stick cooking spray so that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan, or you can use butter, whatever you have on hand. Place the patties on the dish. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Then you're gonna brush the top of the patties with an egg wash. So just beat about 2 eggs or so and add a little bit of water to it. Beat it, and then you're gonna use a pastry brush to brush the top of the patties. If you don't have a pastry brush, what I used to do was just use like a clean piece of paper towel and dab the top of the patties with that. You could do that as well. And you're gonna bake it at 400 degrees for about 30 minutes until they're nice and golden brown like this. And that is it, you guys. That's how I make my Jamaican beef patties. So delicious. They came out amazing. The most important thing is that you season your filling really well. Okay, so add in those fresh seasoning in there, and make sure before you turn off the filling from on the stove that it's tasting amazing. Taste and adjust your seasonings as needed. And yeah, you guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can see my upcoming videos. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to enjoy your patty with a cocoa bread and a nice drink on the side. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.